kick this off. Welcome to live office hours on February 16, 2023. You are live with Doug and Quinston. We're here to check your workflows, answer your questions, and generally just make sure you get the best out of TimeBolt. We've got a pretty full house today. To do is just go ahead and start off with any type of troubleshooting issues that you may be having. We have to run through those as quick as possible, and then we can get any product recommendations. But thank you for everyone for joining us. The first person that I have on was in the waiting line is Jenny. Jenny, are you there?
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Is there anything specific that we can help you out with, or are you just kind of
well, I have a question about I've been using TimeBolt to edit my videos for reaction videos. I do a lot of reaction videos on my YouTube channel, and it's working great, except I'm wondering if there's a way that I can have in the TimeBolt app. I record with 2 audio tracks. When I'm editing my reaction, I can't hear what I'm reacting to, don't know when to cut it. I've set the buffer, but I'm wondering if there's a way to have both audio tracks there, hear both of them, even though TimeBolt is only using one of them to cut.
Are you using a multi-track setup? Does the file have multiple tracks?
Yes, it does.
There is an option. Do you have a file that you can share your screen with? I'll just tell you where the option is. Or
you're asking, are you already using multi-track audio option inside TimeBolt?
And I'm able to get TimeBolt to only look at one audio track to do the cuts. That's great, but I can't hear the other audio track. TimeBolt will cut based on the show that I'm reacting to, and I don't need it. Okay. I only want it to cut around me. I want to be able to hear during the playback.
Got it.
Why am I laughing? I'm laughing because of this thing that was said. I only want
Understood. That's probably a new feature request, and I'll take that up as a new feature request.
We appreciate you coming on and asking about that. Right now, we do not have the capability to listen to a track that isn't already selected, but we've got that down as a feature request. We appreciate you choosing TimeBolt.
All right, thank you. It's been really helpful, by the way. I've recommended it to quite a few people.
That's how we grow and stay healthy here. We've got I have Hunter. Hunter, are you on the line?
Hey, yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Hunter. Is there anything specific you had a question about, or are you just kind of joining in to listen in?
I used TimeBolt for the first time last week, and this is also my first office hours. I use iMovie, and one thing that I was running into was the best way to save my work and to then transfer it to iMovie. And I think I watched a little tutorial that you had. I don't know if there's more resources available specifically for iMovie, but I remember I tried to do where I just saved the video altogether, but then an error message popped up. Then I had to save all the clips individually, and then that took a long time. I wasn't sure if I was doing it correctly. I just put all of the various clips into iMovie, and that's how I was able to make it work. I wasn't sure if there's more resources available on the best way to take my work from TimeBolt and then move it to iMovie.
When you say an error occurred, specifically what happened?
No, I'll have to pay attention this week when I try again, and I can come to other office hours with more specific what the error message said.
There's a file. Whenever TimeBolt throws an error, it generates a file which has the logs of everything that happens. That can be found in documents. In your documents folder, there is a folder called TimeBolt data, and in that folder there's a file called event.txt, eventlogs.txt. If you can just share that file with us, I can actually figure out why that error happened.
Where do I share it?
There's a support ticket which you can create, or TimeBolt or iOS. You can share it with us right now too. You can just upload this.
I'd have to find it, but I was just looking for general best practices when taking my work to iMovie.
The next thing that you did was you split it into clips, right? You used the clip section, the clips.
I ended up just taking all the various clips instead of one large clip.
And that was slow.
I had to leave my computer and come back to it.
Why don't you want to render with one large clip?
I did try that, but then I got an error message.
Okay. Yeah, that's what
that's going to be the suggested workflow to working within iMovie is to render as a single clip and just import that single clip. We just need to figure out what that error message is, because that is our recommended workflow for iMovie.
I did find the event log text file. I'm not sure how to send it.
Yeah, so just do a Control F and just type in error and see what that line is, and you'll come to that line. You can just paste that line in the chat. You're
going to go ahead and find that line, that error line, and we will get back to you on what that error message might be in the chat, and everybody know online here. Hunter, is that in? That's good to go on that. So Dennis, thank you. Dennis, thanks for joining us. Right. I have you as next.
Me and Matthias, we are as a team here today, and we both have the same problem. Can I share the desktop?
Yes, please do.
Perfect. We have 2 files. This one was working perfectly fine. I was putting it in, and I had no trouble editing, using the shortcuts, stuff like that. But we have this second file, and it seems to not play. We don't know why.
Is this the second file that you have in right now?
The second file that's not working.
It's not working.
You know. Yeah.
And Quinston, would you recommend the first thing the first thing I do if there's a file working, go down to the XML portion. And let's just, if you go ahead and save as an XML, this is how I do a quick.
Okay.
See, what does this say? It's 25 frames per second. I look at the end. If this is a variable bit rate, sometimes it's really whacked. It's 48 or whatnot, but this looks standard FPS. Winston, how would you troubleshoot this from here?
The same thing. Can you go to the documents folder, and in the documents folder, there's a log file.
Where do I find it? The documents
Just go
folder?
to your documents. Your documents, and inside the documents, there's a TimeBolt data folder.
Right.
TimeBolt
data. Yes.
Open that up. Event._log. You can scroll to the bottom.
It's going to be your last. The bottom is
You scroll a little up. Let me just CMB. This should actually work. Can you send me this file, the video file?
Sure. How can I send you?
I've put a link in the description to WeTransfer. You can just WeTransfer it to me. The codec suggests that it should work. I don't know what's causing the issue. Let's get back to Honor. She says that the command is disabled and cannot be executed. It's odd. I've never seen that before. But clips worked, right? When you exported the clips, they worked.
They did. And I can try again and see what happens the next time.
I don't think there's any issue. Can you try it right now?
I won't be able to right now.
How did you capture that video just before as you're transferring it over to us?
Raw file from a Sony cam, and nearly all the files that we have doesn't work. I have the same problem, and if I click on update the silence detection, then I can hear only the waveform and the video preview is gone. It's nearly the same with MOV files. It's the same problem.
Every video you shoot from that particular camera?
Yes.
Yeah.
And from another camera. The camera is a Sony Alpha 6400 and we have a Sony FX30 and this is the same problem. It doesn't work.
Yeah,
and
Sony FX, yeah.
Yeah, we have some MOV files which were captured with the QuickTime player and the same problem. The video preview is loading and I can't press spacebar or L. And when I click update silence detection, then I can only hear the sound.
After the video preview loads, it won't play in TimeBolt. This particular.
No, it doesn't play.
Okay.
I can hit play. You see the play button is gone away and you see the pause sign. It doesn't play. It's the same as then it's
Exactly.
So
I'm sending it right now. It takes a couple of minutes.
You're uploading one of these types of files right now to
Yes.
be transfer. And just so I can go down through as you guys are uploading that, and we'll get back to that. Is that a cool, Quinston? Or would you
one more thing is, Hunter, can you do the same thing? Can you also try to send me that file, which doesn't work whenever you get time?
Through WeTransfer?
Yeah, through WeTransfer, yeah. I'll just create support tickets for everyone.
I think next up, I don't know who's Maximilian between you, Matthew, TJ, and Will. It's nice to see you. Does anybody have a specific troubleshooting question?
I do.
Will?
Can you hear me?
Will, there you are. Yes.
I was the one that was having problems with Final Cut Pro XML. Every time I put it into Final Cut Pro, it just gives me that weird. I can share my screen. Hold on. I got a random. I don't know if it's a variable refresh rate because it's just from a random client. I'm guessing it was on an iPhone. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
I go down. I just click the Final Cut Pro XML. And
What
then
does that show? Yeah.
That leads to, let's see, that gives me something like this. I've exported it a couple times. I've renamed it. You suggested, and every time I click on any of these to open it up.
Wait. Just a second. You renamed what?
This, but on your troubleshooting site, it says don't have underscores, don't have, I don't know, it just says don't complicate it, simplify it down to just something.
Well, I'm pretty sure you have to, once you have, it's more about altering the source file name versus the XML file, because then it won't be able to find your source file.
Oh, it's
really?
fine. That's fine. That's
Or
not,
maybe
that's
not.
not an issue.
I'm not.
No, that's not an issue.
Okay.
Because the link for the source file is inside the XML. It doesn't matter what the name of the XML file is. Yeah.
You
Gotcha.
tried to relocate it to your desktop or on a different hard drive.
I was confused on it, whether or not I'm supposed to relocate the source file, because this is the source file right next to it.
No, you're not. It's fine. As long as.
I have tried dragging this onto the desktop. It doesn't do anything. Every time I just get this warning right here.
Well, Quinston, one of the problems I've seen is that it could be relocated to a different drive, and for some reason it's just not finding it on this drive. Final Cut, one of the few.
Asset resource.
So
Problem
let me
with
ask you.
distance.
Let me ask you this: if it is a variable refresh rate, do you guys know if iPhone shoots on variable refresh rate? I don't even know.
I don't think variable refresh rates usually exist when you're streaming on Twitch or something like that.
If it was a variable refresh rate, is it just kind of SOL? Like there's nothing I can do about it?
No, you can. There's handbrake, right? You can handbrake it.
You can handbrake the file. Obviously, you don't want to have to do
Well,
that.
no, I'm saying with TimeBolt, it's a very long file that I don't want to go and count everything up. But I'm just saying I would prefer XML. So I can fine tune some stuff, but
Yeah.
You
last
can
time
render it out. You can do video clips. Yes, I don't. The XML thing only. The variable refresh rate. The variable rate is only an issue with FCPXML and XML. It's not an issue with rendering it directly. You can use video clips or.
I mean, that's what
render the whole
I did
thing.
last time. It just took a long time. And
You could do that, sure.
What were you?
I
Can
was
you
just
show me your
wondering
XML file one more time? Can you show me that? Okay,
Yeah,
it is
it's
FCPXML.
both of these.
And what I would recommend personally, that seems to take your source file, put it on the desktop. You could try that just right now. Let's see if this. Take your source file, put it on the desktop, leave your XML alone. Go back to TimeBolt. You're gonna have to put that back in.
Put the new coordinates in.
I
I
think-
actually tried something like that.
Just save. Well, hold on. Just go save your timeline cuts. Do you already have your cuts saved and all that stuff, or do you?
I don't know. Is that this button?
Go ahead and shut down out of this, and then open up TimeBolt. Throw that file back in.
Quit TimeBolt.
Quit TimeBolt. Now throw that new source file in, one that you just put on your desktop.
No, this is the source file. Okay.
Yeah, generating your preview.
I think it's a 20-minute clip or something, but
Then
I've never actually used this button before. Does that just save my cuts and everything? So now I can just upload it.
That's just saves your work if you have to reopen your video. Can you kind of just scroll through your timeline? Man, that's some whack looking audio.
Yeah, it fixes itself as it goes on.
It was just kind of the start. Well, now you don't have to wait for preview to show up. If you scroll down, do the save as FCPXML again. And now let's go ahead and see if you can open that. Let's see if that finds up that XML right there.
Should I get rid of the underscore or no?
Underscores stuff like that are fine. It's more along.
Oh, it does. Yeah, it did work. These aren't my cuts, right? I'll have to apply the cuts.
Wait, what happened?
It couldn't find the file. I just had him put it on his desktop or change the hard drive location and see if that fixed it. You don't have to put it on your desktop, but it's recommended to get it as close to kind of that root folder, documents folder as possible. It's a Final Cut Pro thing.
That's really
Can you open the XML file? Can you open it? Right click on it and open it in Notepad or something.
Open it in Notepad.
Yeah, text edit notes, whatever. Now it's different, right? What was the previous one? This is the new one, right?
Yeah, that's the new one. This is the old one.
That path is very look at that path. There's %20s everywhere. The
Yeah,
path
so that was probably the folder.
the folder has spaces in them. The folder names have spaces. Spaces.
There's a number.
Yeah, it has spaces in the middle. I think that's the issue. I think it's the spaces. No, it's the hash. It's the hashtags. Yeah, the hash, the pound sign.
Yeah, it's not spaces.
The pound sign. Can you change the pound sign to no pound sign and then try it again? I think it's the pound sign. I'm pretty convinced it's the pound sign.
Oh, so it's not only the XML file saved that messes it up, but it's also the whole folder structure.
I think that's the pound sign in the folder structure. That's what messes
So now
it up.
you think without doing anything, I could just open up this?
No, you need to change the source. You need to change all the hash. You need to rerun the whole thing because in the XML file, the source is with the hashes.
To get back the cuts that I applied, I have to apply cuts here.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then
you're going to select the JSON wherever you saved it. But again, you're going to wait to make sure that your folder structure is readable. I'm sure it will after the.
So now it is, right? He changed it to. So now it is. Yeah.
I have no idea where I originally saved that to.
But you'll know next time.
It was in desktop.
Yeah, just click on it. It'll open up.
You told me to click the same timeline before we shut down TimeBolt.
Yeah, but
Can you do it again? Can you make some changes and do it again?
Well, the changes took me an hour. I'm wondering, before we did anything, before you had me shut down TimeBolt, I clicked this. Shouldn't maybe it was this one? It was this first one?
It's the XML file, yeah.
Is that how the saved cuts saves or no?
No, it saves as a JSON file. Like
Maybe did I click on the wrong one? Just the first JSON file?
I think so. It's a different folder in that folder, I think.
That's probably at 17. Yeah. Okay. Did not want to have to redo that. All right, cool.
Yeah.
And then Final Cut Pro XML saved into here right there. And then theoretically this should work, hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, the source file is still out here. Is that a problem?
No,
No such file.
the hash again.
So
There's one more hash?
It doesn't have a hash anymore. Does that mean I have to restart TimeBolt or something? It still thinks there's a hash?
The library.
Oh, wait.
You just got to take out all the hashtags. Just have a
All right.
clean.
Yeah, I think
folders.
I'll be able to figure it out at this point.
Yeah, and you've got the JSON file. You've got the JSON file. Your cuts are saved. And so we have to check and see why preview isn't. When did preview stop working on that particular file? Was it when you went to load a JSON?
Yeah.
No.
So what I think is
It was
happening
from the
is that
beginning for me.
it's trying to create the preview in the first place, and then when you click on the button, update silence detection, it just goes away. I'll have to figure it out. It's a bug. It's a bug.
All right, perfect.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks for choosing TimeBolt. Well, coming on. Next, you've got the file. You're getting the files from Dennis and Mathis. Talk with Hunter. Maximilian, are you on just to kind of talk some new features, or just kind of joining in?
No. Hi, Doug. Hi, team.
Hi.
Hey, Cool. I think there's a lot of Germans on the call. It's a German invasion here.
Yeah.
It's a TimeBolt. I messed around with the mark feature for the first time. I did a 60-minute interview and wanted to for my shorts guy. And I don't know if I'm missing something because I found the process a little bit cumbersome. The way I did it is to mark certain aspects, but as I want to do this interview at least had 10 or 12 possible shorts. What I did is mark something that I want to put in a short. Then I learned in the last call, make only show, and then I put it to render queue, rendered it, went back, reversed the thing, mark only, only show the marked, and then progress. A lot of steps just to put one. I don't know if it's possible or is there a way, multiple parts, multiple shorts, different. This is Mark 1. For the first short, this is Mark 2, the second short, or maybe I'm missing just something or I can do it in any way better. I hope I made myself clear. Cool.
Talking about would be different levels of markers, color coded or one.
Or just put out that I can just make my marks for the short because it's 10 different shorts and then it exports 10 different videos. Yeah, that would be different markers. Maybe if there's a workaround or some other way, but the way right now is really cumbersome because I have to
be able
mark
to make 10 markers,
only show
10 shorts out of what you're trying to make 10 shorts out of, or 5 shorts out of one long video versus
yes,
one
it's a 60-minute interview, and I want to put out the most interesting parts of the 60-minute interview, and I think that's a use case for a lot of guys out there.
Maximum. One thing you can do is in TimeBolt you can queue up multiple render files, do the marked cuts, and just render it directly. You can queue them up one after the other. You're doing. 1 minute. Let me just show you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think
you don't have to render it out immediately after the marked files are there. What you can do is something. Maybe I select a video, right? Select this video, and in this video I say I want to create a short with these 3 clips. I say selected these 3 clips. I said keep only marked cuts. Then I go down and I say add to render queue. I go back up. I do Control Z. I take off the markers. I go to some other clips. The M, go down. Add to render queue, Control C, remove the cuts, the markers, and then go to, let's say, these 3 clips, back, go to keep only marked cuts, go down, add to render queue. Now you can see there are 3 items in my render queue. I don't have to render them at the same time. So I can just do Control C.
That's very helpful, Quentin.
And then you can, once you're done with all of these, all the edits have been realized, you can start rendering. There's just one thing that you need to take care of. If you can see what has happened is that the cuts, the files, when they're being rendered, they are overwritten. I would suggest whenever you add something to render queue, make sure that the path has a different name. You can change short 1 and then add to render queue. That will be called short 1. And then
that's a lot better than the thing that I did. Still a little cumbersome. Not that I really would love to, but a lot better. Because in this way that you do it, I would be afraid. Sometimes TimeBolt forced closes. I don't know why. Maybe it's on my PC, and then everything's lost. And I have a 60-minute interview, and all my render queue is lost. And then I would be crazy.
I would say that you should probably periodically save the timeline. There's the button to save the timeline. It's fine if you just periodically save it because you can then come back to that same project.
Would it be possible, because it's still 3 steps for every short, to just mark and then say render those marked files without that only keep a mark and blah, blah, blah.
I think that's also possible. That could be awesome. Possible. We could create a button which is, let's say, in here.
That would be unbelievable great.
Yeah,
so
in this maybe we can have
things, and then you say export that.
So button in this button here, which says add marked cuts to render queue.
That would be awesome. Then you don't have that, and then Control Z and blah blah. Because I did it today, even cumbersome. Too much speed up the progress if you just mark 3 things and then say render this. 3 other things. Render this. Doug said different markers, but I think that's maybe too complex and not useful for it. I think the use case to make a lot of shorts out of a 60-minute interview is something that a lot of people will use TimeBolt for.
I agree. Well, I think that button idea is clear button.
Do you need a clear, like this is where it kind of confused me, is that the markers have a very specific use as well for YouTube chapter markers, being able to make those copy paste chapter markers, but yet they also are to cut down shorts. This button may scare me, but if you're just doing shorts, you're asking to render just the marked cuts, but then you're going to have to go back and then click M, click and find where your other markers are and backtrack, then click
clear marker button.
Like a clear markers text, a clear markers button. But the reason it scares me is because if you've got all your stuff, somebody click that YouTube chapter marker.
That's maybe a problem. I see your point that it's for both points. I don't do YouTube chapters that often, but said in the last call, the short thing is super important. For me, it wouldn't be something that messes it up, but if you do long form interview and you want to have your chapters and also want to have your shorts, then you might run into a little bit problem. Maybe if you think long term, maybe there's place for another thing that is just short specific. I said that shorts are really going up and in YouTube and real space. Maybe it's a different kind of marker. Or you can think about it. I don't know.
No, I think it's a great product recommendation for the application of shorts, being able to add shorts to render queue, possibly give it another name too, right? When it prompts, does it then say, do you want to rename your file? If you were to add only mark cuts to render queue?
The workflow for me is, and I think that's what a lot, put the thing in TimeBolt, I put out the silence, then I watch it. This is a great bit. Let me make a short out of it. Bam, mark it, short one. Even I could export it right then and there. That would be great. Even greater would be this one, short one.
It would just tack on if it could just tack on to whatever existing file name it is and literally just call it short.
Well, I have no problem with manually naming it, but it just in my work progress when I just go through the video back and forth, back to end, and I could just the things that I want to have for a short scene, that's short one. Export it now or at the end, click export shorts. TimeBolt creates short one, short two, short three.
That would really work. That would work well, especially if there was a clear markers button. As you're going through after everything's all edited up and you want to create your shorts, you're just going ding, 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 ding. That's short one. Render, then just clear short so you don't have to go back in any timeline.
It'd be a killer feature, I think. At the short producing machine, you have to cut it anyway. You want to have that silence out. But if I also in the same workflow can export 5 or 10 shorts for Instagram, for YouTube, because the way I do it is not many people want to watch a 60-minute interview, not at first, but they watch a short. And I do the most interesting parts as a short that works really good for us. And then watch the whole interview here. People will see it who never heard about me, but see this point I make or the other person makes and they think, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, check out the whole interview.
Quincy, I think we've got some good direction on that, and I'll put that into our product roadmap and see how you may want to work with that. That would really streamline the workflow, and it's another
dream come true.
And we're also our conversation on the 9th about Punch, the automation.
The shortcuts, the Punch team. The shortcuts worked really well and speeded that up. But I was also working through a 40-minute bit.
Yeah.
Every time,
like
punch in, punch out. Punch in, punch out.
No, I think it's a great idea. We also have another customer that's helping us out with that on our Punch team. We'll keep you apprised of our updates.
Fantastic, guys. Yeah, super.
Thanks for
just
joining.
Just a quick other question.
Sure.
I see my OneDrive is going crazy when I render videos. Can I avoid it? I think TimeBolt in the process of rendering produces a lot of files in OneDrive, and then it uploads them to OneDrive and deletes them again.
Oh, you can do this actually. There is an option in TimeBolt which is in your set settings. You go over here, you can go to the bottom and you can change your scratch path. Scratch path is essentially a folder which all the temporary files which are there go in this folder over here. You can select you can create a new folder on a different drive, or a drive which you don't really care about, or you have lying around, and you can select that as the
So it's automatically set to something in my OneDrive, and then it uploads this 1,000 files and then deletes them again.
Just make sure to not point it directly at the drive. Make a folder inside the drive and point it to that folder, because if you point it to any important folder, it's going to delete everything inside because it's going to use it as just create a new folder.
Directory to new folder.
Create a new folder somewhere. Create a new folder and then rename it Scratch and then put it inside this.
And then put it inside there, because if you didn't do that, if you didn't add that folder called Scratch, what would all the folders would have been gone? That's I did that to myself when I first was using TimeBolt. My time. Luckily, I just got started, and I was, what the hell? I think literally 2 years worth of work is gone.
Shit.
Even though Quincy directed me how to fix it. But good old scratch path. Maximilian, thank you for that question. Now,
thank you for your great work and making it the ultimate short producing machine.
One more button, it'll be the ultimate machine.
That's how it gets built.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Now we've got Matthew.
Dennis?
Matt?
Dennis.
Oh, is Dennis? Was Dennis up
Yeah.
next?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Dennis came
sorry,
up
Matt.
first, and I was last in.
I think Dennis came third, right? Or third or fourth?
I think didn't we talk to Dennis? And
I've sent you
Yeah, you
the
sent it.
files. I got
Oh, yeah,
you.
you sent me the files, correct, right?
But by the way, I have a question. Your punch in,
Yeah.
is it possible to change the crop factor? Because
Yeah,
25
we are working on that. That is a
okay,
a
perfect.
feature.
That's all right. Cool. 25% was always a little bit too much.
Yeah. We're working on that. We got feedback based on that, I think, last week.
Very cool. Nice.
no, thank you for that question. Matt, are you on?
Yes, I'm on.
Our great affiliate, one of our affiliates, Camtasia. Thank you for all the business you send our way. Your name pop up every once in a while, and our thank you for your support.
Really?
What type of what can we help you with?
There was an excellent Camtasia feature in 4.6.3 that's not working properly for me in version 5. Like, one question I have is just, can I go back to 4.6.3 until you guys get to that in your priority list?
Yeah, I can send it to you, but
And-
we'll also update anyway.
The feature is the TSC proj output I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You lose the mouse track.
Oh,
in
the
version
mouse
5.
track.
The cursor. And that didn't seem to happen
It used to be there before?
in 4.6.3. I would still have the cursor. Now, you have the option, depending on your recording format, the cursor can be part of the MP4 file. But one thing with Camtasia is you can do all sorts of things with the cursor after the fact. Add cursor highlights and those kind of things. I think they record the cursor as a separate track. And now, when I apply the timeline cuts, the timeline clip now is labeled Sony_cam. And I don't know if that's required for the method.
No, it's not. It's not.
But it says Sony Cam, and I wonder if that's breaking the complete link in Camtasia. But that it said Sony Cam in version 4.6.3, and I didn't seem to lose the mouse. I could still do.
I don't think the mouse. We haven't changed Camtasia, the code regarding Camtasia at all. The last 10, 20 versions, it's the same code. You're saying that the mouse used to be there, but now it's not.
If I could tell you more if I could find a way to roll back to version 4.6.3.
Okay, I'll send you a link to that. 1 second. The first time you run it, you can actually screen capture, and have that as something you can send to me.
Just to confirm, I sent a support ticket about it, and I haven't heard back. I don't know if it's something got messed up with my email, but I just thought I'd check your office hours and bring to your attention. I've got many videos ahead of me to create this year, and I'd really love to use TimeBolt in my workflow. I've got to do my production in Camtasia for the final
The
video
version
tutorial.
you're looking for is 4. Yeah, I've put
Anything
link
with the
in chat.
mouse at all, and record in a format with the mouse as part of the video image, not a separate track.
Yeah, I've put the link in the chat for 4.6.3.
Is when you after you record.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't think we ever supported mouse. That's the thing, because I remember when I was building the extension, I don't think there was ever a point where, because this version of TimeBolt with TSC Proj only works with the video files. It doesn't work with custom tracks which Camtasia has.
Custom video track
It doesn't. It never has worked with custom tracks.
because it works
Okay.
on one video at a time, right?
Because the input file is an MP4, and then you convert the single track, and that's what we got from Camtasia. When we asked Camtasia for their API, we wanted to use their API. They said that they don't allow access to that, and they just told us to change the save file. And in the save file, all we could do was rearrange the clips inside the track. That track was only for MP4, wasn't for.
Well, I sure thought it worked, and I could be wrong. That's why I wanted to just go back and confirm
Yeah,
it.
you can check. I've linked the exe file in the chat.
This one is what I do is in Camtasia first, and maybe I should show that here. I would do,
And just start with a new project. I think that would be easier, right? Just start with a new one.
suppose, right? So a lot of cuts, right? It takes me a ton of time.
You
Um,
don't want to not use TimeBolt.
Totally agree there. I said, let's do something new. I'll hit record, test one, record.
Your mouse is supposed to be being captured right now.
I'll move the mouse around. Click. All right, let's have that be enough. 15 seconds. Put this in the TimeBolt. I've got this project. I will save it. Then what I would do.
Where's your cursor at? Can we just make sure that the cursor's moving?
Yeah,
around?
you kind of see how that the cursor is the wrong size. They're trying to draw
Okay.
attention to it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Cursor's in there.
That's
So
a
now what I would do,
T-Rex file.
I know that you can't take a T-Rex, or at least I found that if I change the extension to AVI, it will show the audio, but I'll never see the video. What we'll do is export to a local file as an MP4. It's on a different screen. All right, now TimeBolt, we'll put that one in there, the MP4, and let's just say I'm happy with those.
Can you
Hold
play
on,
it
hold
once
on.
and see if the cursor's there?
Sure.
Yeah, it's there.
The cursor's there.
Yeah, 'cause it's been rendered into the MP4. And of course, I always save the cuts people have been talking about. And then I'll go down here to this project, and apply them. Then I'll have to refresh it by opening it again. I'm not seeing the cursor in this version either.
I didn't know you could do this. What we used to do is it wasn't the TREC file in the track. It was the MP4 file in the track.
I know that would work.
That would show the cursor.
Maybe that's what I did once. Prefer to have this file in there because at least, different story, but this is a lossless screen recording. Now, actually, Camtasia switched from lossless to they do lose a lossy. I get a lot of artifacts, and if you process it again through TimeBolt, there's even more artifacts, and then I gotta export the final, and there'll be yet even more artifacts. The colors are all off. I'm just not happy with it from that quality standpoint. That's why I would really like to be able to apply the cuts from one file.
Tell me one
to this
thing.
one.
Can I ask you what purpose recording with Camtasia serves for you?
It has a lot more flexibility, a recording area, which screen I'm using. It doesn't have to be the primary screen. Because it has if I were to put this file in directly, it has this cursor effect, they call it. Right. I think for tutorials that it helps a lot.
I agree. Yeah.
For people to see where you clicked. I'm trying to see an example of one, but anyway, that would be some of the reasons. Yeah, there you see like
this is a new feature request. If you think about it, I know it works with MP4 because that's what we engineered it for. Initially, when we were building this whole thing, we actually contacted Camtasia about using their API. They told us that they don't have a third-party API system for all they have is save file, which we do. We're doing over here. We're taking the save file and we are changing up the save file to show these cuts. I have never tried the TREC file in the track. I've always tried the MP4 file in the track. So let me experiment with that a bit.
Okay.
I've only tried the MP4 file, which is what the plugin, this whole workflow is based on.
All right.
Can you go ahead and Matt? Can you throw your email in the chat? This is going to be something that it's a new feature request.
Yeah, it's a new feature request. Yeah.
In order for this to work for your tutorials, you'd have to do it as an MP4. And what you're saying is odd artifacts.
I did some experimentation and the older versions of Camtasia.
I have one question before that. When you convert the TREC file to the MP4 file, do you have artifacts then?
Yes, and in fact, in the latest version of Camtasia, I even have artifacts in the TREC file. The new Camtasia does not record with the old compression algorithm.
Okay.
The old codec, I think it's called.
Have you contacted Camtasia support for that?
I complained on their forum.
And did they respond?
Other people I complained. It was just yesterday. I'm not expecting a response. A couple of days ago. But I have access to all. We've been using Camtasia for the better part, well, at least 10 years. I've got access to all the old versions, and I can record in the 2018 version recorder, which is the last one that used. The extension is still TREC, but it's a different. Yeah, it's obviously different. And they offer an AVI. I can record as AVI, but then the mouse is part of the image. That's my second best option right now. Is I won't have any cursor effects. I'll record as AVI that's lossless. I'll apply the TimeBolt cuts to the original AVI, just going to try to do here, and then I'll have one export and one conversion with no mouse rings or anything.
I don't think kind of look at TimeBolt will. The thing is that after. I don't know if it was Camtasia 18 or Camtasia 19. After Camtasia 18, I think Camtasia changed the way they do the save file. The save files are different than they were before. We had to update the TimeBolt algorithm for generating the save files to the new version of Camtasia. I don't know if TimeBolt will work. I'm not sure if it's 18 or which version of Camtasia it is.
I'm using the recorder from 18, but I'm only going to use the editor from 2022.
That should be fine. That's fine.
And the only reason to use the recorder is because that was lossless. I hope that Camtasia will go back to a lossless, or at least give us some control over the compression quality, because there's absolutely no adjustment. Sure. You go into record. That was actually one reason in the past why I would have said why I would prefer the Camtasia recorder over the TimeBolt recorder. Is
I would suggest trying out OBS, because in OBS you can create scenes for different sorts of. If you're recording, for example, the screen itself, you can have one scene. If you're recording your camera and your screen, and they even let you add channels of different audio, maybe system audio. Or I would suggest just using a different software.
Use OBS. I could look into that. Maybe maybe you're saying OBS might have better options.
Yeah,
how to record the screen.
OBS is probably the best screen recording software on the planet, and it's free. Yeah, and like every streamer we see on Twitch, on YouTube, they all use.
They don't have any options anymore. That's actually something I wish. Well, they have this two options: H264 and TSC. Did I just record an H264? Yeah, you can't change anything except the capture rate. You can't change the compression. Anything. That's something I wish TimeBolt had also, was some kind of adjustment over the MP4 quality.
capture quality?
Output, I think.
Output, TimeBolt output quality.
Yeah, and the TimeBolt output, it's by design. It's we didn't want to complicate the rendering system too much because we have options for Premiere Pro and XML, and we have support for all these other external third-party software which are much better at rendering video than TimeBolt is. I don't want to. If we try to build our own encoder, that would be a completely different project, and it's too cap heavy for us.
Winston, what are the next steps here on our end? Do we have next?
Yeah, I will test out the T-Rec with the mouse. That's what I'll do. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to help with the encoding for Camtasia because that's not in my hands at all. Maybe T-Rec, we can find a way to support T-Rec because we could write a different script for adjusting the save file. We can write a script which says the track 1 contains a T-Rec file instead of an MP4. You use the slicing to account for the T-Rec and keep the mouse in there. Well, so I can look into that.
We'll take a look at that. But Matt, I wouldn't just what you're creating. I think you've already kind of come up with an alternative option. But Quincy will take a look at that. And thank you for joining us. And Matt, do we have the information from you guys? Do we want
I have the information, yes.
Do we want to try and do anything online here, or is this more of a...
No, I'll have to test it myself. I'll do it. I have Dennis's email. Once I'm ready with the solution, we'll send you an email.
Okay, perfect.
We've got your email and we've got the files. We're coming up here on the end time. Is there any other questions that we can answer?
Matthew, can you put your email in the chat so that we can contact you?
Got it.
Just maybe two last question. Do you guys plan to make function to zoom in and zoom out over a period of time for one clip, one cut?
Yeah, that's a feature request we are getting. The punch-ins thing is we release the punch to see if people are interested in something like that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's definitely nice. Yeah.
And we received good feedback. We'll definitely be improving upon that. Yeah.
Cool.
We'll be adding features probably zooming in linearly, then having easy ease.
Cool.
And yeah, so we'll probably do that.
Yeah, that would save so much time. That's like genius. Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us for our live office hours on Thursday, February 16th, 2023. If you content, please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and of course, just ring the notification bell for whatever reason. But thank you for joining us, and we're out of time. Have a good one, gentlemen.
Bye. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.